how to do physical affection in dating is a burning question. So let's talk about it. I'm going to take as a starting point that the marital act is precisely that, an act that belongs to marriage. I think that from that flow a whole set of implications for how in romantic relationships we express affection or don't. So in a sense, that starting point is the great divide. Either we're on one side or on the other. Those who do not think that sex is only for marriage will probably discount everything that I'm about to say. So I say to you, choose. Choose now. Which side are you on? Where do you fall? This needs to be decided especially before dating. And I suggest if you've had the insight that sex is the marital act, I suggest run with that. You're going to discover that the implications are freeing, are astoundingly beautiful. Run with it and be consistent with it. Follow through on it. Yes, it's going to be very demanding, and sometimes we might fall. If we fall, we're going to have to get up and move on. We need to note something here. There's different kinds of falling in this area, but due to the significance and beauty of this area, any fall is always going to have real consequences. Even if simply psychological, I'm not going to say just psychological, even if simply psychological, these are very real consequences. And it's incumbent on us to deal with those maturely. So in any case, we need to go into this with our eyes wide open. It's nothing to be afraid of, but something to realize, wow, we're being called to enter into something really big here. I have 3 suggestions. 1, talk about it. 2, look for other, richer ways of being together. 3, utilize smaller signs of affection. 1, talk about it. I'm not talking about here in the first date or 2. I'm talking about once you're into a genuine dating relationship. This is where together you start to talk about how are we going to do this signs of affection thing right. It's a project that requires that you both be involved. This is a beautiful aspect of being intentional together. Quick sidebar. I know you're out there in the trenches. In the world that you're in, sometimes you might be thinking, hey, in the very first date, I might have to say certain things. If that's the way it is, then absolutely, in that first date, carve out certain things. Go right ahead and do that. I wonder whether, hopefully, maybe a kind of pre-discernment might make it so that you wouldn't have to do that. But hey, you're in the trenches. You make that judgment. That's not, though, the talking that I'm talking about here. I'm talking about you've already come to a certain understanding. You know one another. You can fundamentally trust one another. But now we're just starting that project of, hey, how are we going to dig more deeply into this and how are we going to do this right together? It's a great part of growing together in our dating. So second, look for those richer other ways of being together. This gets short shrift. People joke about this. This is where the woman says, well, hey, surely there's something else interesting we could be doing right now. Right, well, there's something to this, but this is incumbent upon both parties. There are other things that we can and should be doing together right now to really start to be together in richer ways. These things need to be cultivated. We need to be dating the kind of person that is capable of these richer kind of activities. When there aren't these richer kind of activities, that's when we especially tend to fall prey to temptation to abuse signs of affection, kind of because of that, well, though, what else would we do together? So let's try not to be in that circumstance, and let's take advantage of really being able to deliberate together about finding those richer ways. Okay, and then finally, utilizing these smaller signs of affection. This is a real beautiful one. I'm just going to go right out there and say it. I think these things are way underappreciated. Holding hands, putting your arms around somebody, a reasonably restrained kiss. All of these things, by a natural plan, are astoundingly special. But they won't be experienced as astoundingly special if we just skip over them. Well, we've got bigger things to get onto. Who cares about those things? That's the wrong attitude. and we're going to miss the plan. We're going to miss the plan if we do that. So what we can do is focus on how do we realize that there is a time and a place for these things, and now's the time to discover that. And other things come in their time and place, in some then. Each of these three are so important to making dating be exactly what it can be, a real preparation for marriage. And you know what? Each of these three things you're actually going to do in marriage, and so you're practicing for it right now. I'm serious. Look at them again. Talking about how to be chaste together. That's actually a huge, wonderful part of marriage. Looking together in marriage at finding richer ways of being together, another very key part of your marriage relationship. And finally, also, yes, always retaining how to utilize, how to still give their place to these beautiful, more simple ways of expressing affection. That's something, too, that the married will need to learn. It is my sincere hope that with those suggestions, you might be able to experience dating as the astounding preparation for marriage that it can be. If you liked this content, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and visit our website for free classes, Wednesday reflections, videos, and more.